there are some special considerations that you need to think about for same-sex couples when it comes to immigration. Watch the rest of this video to find out. In 2013, the United States Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act in United States v. Windsor. This gave same-sex couples the ability to petition for marriage-based immigration benefits. In 2015, same-sex marriage became legal in all 50 states after the United States Supreme Court decision in Obergefell v. Hodges. These were great steps forward in creating legal equality for LGBTQ+ people, but there's still a long way to go. Marriage-based petitions for same-sex couples should work the same way as every other marriage-based petition, but there are some special considerations. The first thing that you will need to consider is where you were married or where you would like to be married. For immigration purposes, a marriage is valid if it is legal in the place where it occurred. Not every country allows same-sex marriage, and some countries may allow civil unions but not allow same-sex marriage. This is part of a larger discussion that all couples have to have as to whether they think it's a better choice for them to file for a fiancé visa or for a spousal visa. For instance, for same-sex couples, if the foreign partner is in a country where it is not legal to have same-sex marriage, you may want to apply for a fiancé visa, which would allow the foreign partner to come into the United States so that you can have the wedding here. Another consideration for same-sex couples is documentation and record consistency. Part of the process for obtaining a marriage-based visa is proving that the relationship is bona fide. Bona fide means that the relationship is authentic and that it is not entered into for the sole purpose of immigration. Usually, the way that a couple would prove that their relationship is bona fide is by submitting documents that show that they're behaving in the way that a normal couple would. These would be things like living together, so you could submit a joint lease. This could be sharing a bank account. This can even be submitting pictures of the couple doing things together, like meeting family and friends. This can be difficult for same-sex couples because there's varying degrees of acceptance when it comes to countries and when it comes to individual families. Some same-sex couples may not feel comfortable or safe behaving in the same way that a heterosexual couple would. This is especially true if the foreign partner lives in a country that does not accept these types of relationships or could even be downright hostile towards them. Another potential issue when it comes to documentation for same-sex couples is when one of the partners was previously married to a partner of the opposite sex. This can be suspicious to an immigration officer, especially if the prior marriage was close in time to the current marriage. Another consideration when it comes to documentation for LGBTQ+ people is when you have someone who identifies as a different gender than what's on all of their legal documents. You have to pay attention in this particular circumstance to make sure that you're drafting your petition in a particular way that communicates that. The final consideration that I'm going to discuss in this video is bias. USCIS and consular adjudicators are people too, and people come with all types of biases, whether those are explicit biases or implicit biases. Bias may occur in the adjudication of a same-sex marriage petition, whether it comes to reviewing the paperwork or during the interview. Explicit bias would be easier to spot and therefore easier to appeal. But implicit bias may be harder to spot and harder to prove on appeal. And this is really unfortunate, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to how the adjudicator is behaving and make sure that they're applying the law the way that it should be. Of course, I plan on making more videos about this topic and other topics, So if you liked this topic, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like my video and subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I post anything new.